students. Welcome to another discussion here in MAPE. Again, this is Teacher Mart and I will be your MAPE teacher for this year. Alright, our lesson for today is all about elements and principle of parts. Did you know that we have 7 basic elements of parts? Can you name them? Elements of art. Number 1, line. A line is a mark made by a tool such as brush, pen or stick, a moving point. This is an example of line. Number 2, shape. A flat enclosed area that has 2 dimensions, length and width. Here's an example of shape. Number 3, color. Color is the most dominant element. It is created by light. Here's an example of color. Number 4, we have value. It is the degrees of lightness or darkness. The difference between values is called value contrast. Here's an example of value. Number 5, form. Form are objects that are 3-dimensional, having length, width, and height. Here's an example of form. Number 6, texture. A texture describes the feel of an actual surface. The surface quality of an object can be real or implied. Here's an example of texture. Number 7, space. Space is used to create the illusion of depth. Space can be 2-dimensional, negative and/or positive. Here's an example of space. Those are the 7 elements of art. Once again, number 1, line. Number 2, shape. Number 3, color. Number 4, value. Number 5, form. Number 6, texture. And number 7, space. Now let us discuss the principles of art. Number 1, balance. Balance is a distribution of visual weight on either side of the vertical axis. Here's an example of balance. Number 2, contrast. Contrast is the arrangement of opposite elements, light versus dark, rough versus smooth, small versus large, and etc. Here's an example of contrast. Number 3, emphasis. Emphasis uses to make certain parts of an artwork stand out. It creates the center of interest or focal point. Here's an example of emphasis. Number 4, movement. Movement is how the eye moves through the composition, leading the attention of the viewer from one aspect of the work to another. It can also create the illusion of action. Here's an example of movement. Number 5, pattern. Pattern is a repetition of specific visual elements such as a unit of shape or form. Here's an example of pattern. Number 6, rhythm. Rhythm is a regular repetition of or alteration of elements to create cohesiveness and interest. Here's an example of rhythm. And last, number 7, unity. Unity is a visually pleasing agreement among the elements in a design. Here's an example of unity. Once again, the 7 principles of arts are balance, contrast, emphasis, movement, pattern, rhythm, and unity. Now that we are done, I want you to check your learning modules and answer the following activities and the following assessment to check if you have learned something today. Well, that's the end of our discussion. I hope you learned something for today. Again, this is Teacher Mart and see you on the next lesson. Goodbye!